Hello, hello, hello. Day three of free agency is come and gone with still no news on a new contract for Moe Wagner. Earlier today, there was a podcast released where he talked a bit about free agency and his mindset in it, as well as his recovery and how his recovery is going from his injured knee. Um, since that all came out today, I thought, why not have a Mo centric episode? Welcome to the Orlando Magic Nation. My name is Edwin. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Um, in this episode, we're going to talk about Mo's impact on the team through not just stats, but also what he brings to the table in terms of leadership. I'll talk a little bit about the interview and what was talked about, as well as what's going to happen next and why haven't we heard anything yet on the contract extension or just a contract in general for Mo. So we're going to start off with the stats like we talked about. So if we just I focus on the last 2 years because in the last 2 years is when it's been the most impactful in terms of winning. So if you look at the last 2 years, the 23-24 season, he played 80 games. It was relatively healthy. So obviously some of his overall attempts and things like that are obviously going to be higher. He played about 17.7 minutes a game. He was instant offense in both seasons with 10.9 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. 2 seasons ago, he played a lot with Joe Ingles, so he was able to pick and roll a lot. So a lot of his baskets were at the rim, or a lot of rolling. So that's why his field goal percentage was a 60% on 552 attempts. Boy was getting them up. He didn't shoot as many threes 2 years ago, at least per game. That's so I don't know if that's why the 33% field goal percentage was so low on 115 attempts, but he's again he that's something that he worked on, and you'll see that he was better at in the last season. On defense, obviously he's not going to jump out, be above the rim defender or anything like that. What he's able to do is draw charges. So as you see, he had 24 charges drawn 2 seasons ago, and that's going to be the biggest impact. That and just kind of annoying people to getting frustrated and throwing up shots in a different way. Last season, obviously, he was cut short by injury, unfortunately. He had 30 games played. He played 18.8 minutes, so his minutes were ticked up. Obviously, that could be due to the injuries we had already sustained on the team a little earlier at that point. 12.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. So the assist numbers, it just shows what kind of playmaker he can be as well. Obviously, that's not a high number, but it's definitely great when he keeps the ball moving and he's able to get better shots for the other people as well if he doesn't have one. Like I said, he had a lower field goal percentage because he was shooting more from distance. He wasn't just rolling to the basket through due to the Joe pick and rolls. He shot 36% on 75 attempts in 30 games, so he was putting up at least a couple threes per game, and he was able to at least get a charge or draw a charge once every 6 games or so. So that's definitely still something that was a part of his defense that he brought every day. Um, Obviously those are just the stats. Now what he brings, like we always call Jalen our heart and soul. So that's definitely I would say that's definitely the case. But if there was a heart and soul, heart could be Jalen and the soul could be Mo. Mo's definitely a part of the person that will agitate a bit. He's going to be the one to get under people's skin. He's going to be the one that the crowd is going to hate on. He likes to take all of that on himself. So um, I think he pushes everyone to be better. He pushes himself to be better. He's definitely somebody that's irreplaceable on the Magic. So we're really hoping that we do whatever we need to do to be able to get him a fair contract, so he feels that he can come back to the Magic with his head held high, especially with us just paying 7 million for the 1 year with Tyus when he's built so much equity with the team. He's hoping that he's going to get at least a fair deal, and that's all anybody could ever ask for, really. In the interview today, well, here's some of the highlights actually. I threw a highlight package in there just to kind of give an understanding of this is all from last year. Like I said, you're going to see a couple more 3 pointers. Here was the one right here. Splash. That'd be really funny if eventually they put some misses into these highlight packages. Just be like, oh, that was a good idea. So yeah, we're not going to linger too long on that. We'll just do another player. So there he goes. All right. The interview. So today, like I said, there was an interview released. The interview it's in German, but all you can do is you can see here you can auto translate the subtitles so that you're able to read along and what's happening. The name of the podcast I'll add in the description below if you wanted to. Description we'll add below so you're able to watch it. It's cool to see these guys talking and not just being interviewed and all of that. This is more of just a free flowing conversation. Um, in it, he talks about his free agency around the 10-minute mark, I believe, is when they start talking about that with the free agency. He has an interesting take on it. He's not talking about squeezing every last dime out of these teams. He's talking about what's going to make him happy. There's different, they get a little philosophical. Him and the other guy in the podcast. They get a little philosophical of what's happiness, what brings happiness. Is it the ego? Is it the money? Is it this? Is it that? So I think in the end, he's not just looking straight at who's going to give me the most money, who's going to give me their mid level, and just try to take that and run if he's not going to be happy. So that's something that he's going to weigh. This was released today, I think, today or yesterday, or at least in the last couple of days, but it was filmed or it was taped on draft day. So even at that point, he didn't know he would be. Um, I'm sure they've been talking to him to let him know that they were going to not pick up his player option, but still, it's one of those things that he was still in the dark. So again, just know that this isn't filmed today or yesterday. It's been a couple days, or it's been a week or so at this point. But it's an interesting watch, um, especially listening to like his mindset of the free agency. I haven't watched the documentary, him and Franz documentary from 2 seasons ago, I think. I haven't watched that yet. That'll be something to watch. I'll probably watch later tonight, just so that I can get more of an understanding of how difficult the negotiation was already he'd had to deal with. So now he's having to deal with it 2 years in a row. So hopefully this man can get paid and he can have a bit more security so he's not worried about it every single season. So yeah, so there's that. Now, also not only about the free agency, he also talks about his recovery, and he's recovering really well. Apparently, 2 months ago when he went in, there was concern about the way it was healing. But within the last 2 months, whatever he's been doing, he's probably been very vigilant with it, making sure that he takes care of it. With that, it's gotten way better. And apparently, the doctor said that he doesn't even need to go physically to see them anymore. They can do everything over Zoom, and that's going to be helpful moving forward. And the doctor basically told him just to focus on basketball. The knee is fine. The knee is where it is. Now you need to get past it in your head because at this point, obviously he's been favoring it for the several months at this point since December. So now, obviously, now it's time to retrain yourself that you don't have to limp anymore. Your knee is strong. You could push off. You can do all of that. So I think that's the thing that he talks about that he's gonna get past um, and yeah, and that's that. So hopefully things go well and hopefully he signs with the Magic and hopefully he's able to come back. I would say, well, we all hope he'll be back December. He got hurt in December. We're hoping if he can come back sooner, that'd be great. But we know the Magic are a bit more conservative when it comes with injuries. So that's something that they likely are going to bring him in very slowly, which is important because we really, if we have him on the team, we need him for the playoffs. Because that's what we're building towards, not necessarily just everything off the regular season. What's next? So this is, let's say, back of napkin math. Like, let's not don't look at the numbers and be like, this is our exact. Yes, they're pretty close, at least to the dollar that I have on there. But just know that this isn't exactly the case. A lot of this information came from Spot Track. So I will also include that in the description, just so that if it's something that you're looking forward to, if this is your thing, that you just want to know what it comes to the accounting of all the sports that we love, that's a great reference for it. But just looking at this here, we're definitely going to be over cap space, so that's nothing. That's why we couldn't sign free agents. So we had to be very particular with how we do things. That's why we declined. That's I'm part of the team. That's why the Magic declined excuse me, Moe's player option, so that we can play around in the sandbox and see if we can get other guys to be able to help the team. So we're definitely over cap space. That's not even a thing. Now we're likely going to be a tax team. We could make a change here or there in February. We just have to get under the tax by the end of next season. So even if we are over the cap over the tax right now, in February or during the trade deadline, we can move a guy or move some salaries around and get under that tax if that's something that the bosses are really worried about. The big thing is the first apron. So because we used more than the 5.7 mid-level exception to get Tyus, since he's signed for 7 million for the 1 year, that means we're hard capped at the apron. NBA now has hard caps. So if everybody's been watching the NBA for many years, you know that that hasn't been the case. But realistically, we have a hard cap in certain situations as we're dealing with now. So as you see here, the first apron, the hard cap of it is 195.9 million dollars. Right now, we have 190.4 million dollars about. So again, this don't take this exactly as this is what it is. So we have about $6 million, let's say, in space to be able to sign two guys. Because right now, I believe we are two people short, two roster spots short. So we have to sign two people on that. So unless we're going to be making a move, either to send out some more money so that we can free it up, so we can pay Mo, and then if we're bringing Caleb back to sign him as well, then we're going to be hard strapped. So if that doesn't happen, we're not going to be able to go and pay Mo what I think most of us think is more than that. Yeah, people were like, "Oh, he's injured until December, so he's going to miss half the season, or he's going to be out till January. He's going to miss half the season," and that is true. Like no one's denying that, but come on, like let's. It is a business, of course. I'm not saying we should just go crazy. However, we need to, we need to pay fair value. And if we're looking at some of the signings that have happened the last couple of days, we know that that there are times where people get a little extra on the top, and I feel like he's been a good enough soldier for the last couple of seasons to be able to pay him something. Will they get paid 11 million like last year? Maybe not, but 10 million for 3 years with a team option on the last year, or something like that. The Surprisingly, the cap is only going up 7% this year instead of 10%. Everybody assumed it was going to go up 10% every single year. Now it's only 7%. So we're going to have to think about that, especially next year when the team becomes super duper expensive. So yeah, so I think that's the thing that we're waiting on now, and I think that's why we haven't heard anything yet. The Magic are pretty close-lipped. They don't really have a lot of leaks in the team, so that's great. It's great in one way, but not great in another way, because then obviously we are all sitting here waiting, wondering, waiting for the news at this point. But I think it's all happening together. They're gonna free up space, then they're gonna take care of Mo. Like if you notice, a lot of other teams have just been signing players and dealing with it after. Like we'll send out money. That doesn't seem to be the way the Magic are going with it. Hopefully, we're not playing a game of chicken too much because like we don't want him to end up in another market. He's that important to us. So I'd say expect, hopefully soon, expect there to be a trade to free up some money one way or another. Apparently, the Lakers are talking about Wendell. They're talking about Goga. Like they're looking for a backup option. So maybe in that trade, we're able to free up some money there. The Lakers don't really have a lot of draft capital to if we're going to just give away Goga or something like that. That's another thing to talk about another day. This is mostly about Mo, but hopefully we free up enough money for Mo so that we're able to have him on the Magic wreaking havoc on off the bench, and as for many years to come. So I think that's the big thing on here. So that's that. So yeah, that's today's episode. I appreciate the view. Obviously, I'm still getting used to this. This is the last few days I've been starting to upload, and we're going to really build this channel. And again, I want to hear from you. So put any comments in the drop down below. If the uhs are a little too much, or any comment that you have. Again, this is going to be a channel for you guys. I'd like to hear from you, and maybe eventually I start having anybody who wants to chat with me, so it's more of a conversation instead of just me talking to the camera. I'd love to hear from you guys, and we can have a discussion, as long as it's as long as it's respectful and reasonable and all of that. I'd love to bring you guys on board, so that again we have more of a dialogue on here. So I'm checking the Reddits. I'm seeing the Orlando Magic subreddit, reading, seeing what there is on there, and as well as checking Twitter as much as possible. So again, this is partially, this is something for me just to get some of my views off my chest. But again, uh, feel free to do the same on me. So um, hit subscribe, because I'm going to be putting out content every day, if not every day, every other day. I'm going to be in Vegas, going to the sports business classroom, um, uh, July 13th through the 20th. So I may not have coverage out that during that period. But for the most part, again, I'm going to be doing a lot of different things when it comes time to keep the channel going. So please feel free, comment down below, give it a like, subscribe, because there's going to be more content coming your way. Thank you. Talk to you later.